Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of Ant on Music. I'm your host, Ant, and this week we're only going to take a look at two bands. And if you've seen what's behind me, you could kind of figure it out. One is a Bronx boy. I'm a Bronx boy, love our Bronx boys. That would be Ace Frehley. Ace Frehley has a new release out called 10,000 Volts. Have a interesting Ace Frehley story to tell everybody. And the other one is the Mighty Motorhead. So, let's get in it. It's going to be a long episode, that much I can tell you. There's a lot of cool stuff to look at, including some stuff that's not music, all right? So let's start off with Motorhead, okay? So Motorhead, this past week, released their fifth installment of the Motorhead Lost Tapes, okay? And I was kind of confused by it a little bit that they released it just as an ordinary release. The prior four installments of this collection were released as Record Store Day or Record Store Black Friday releases, and this one was just kind of put out there. What they also did was they put out the entire 5-volume set as a CD box set, which is pretty cool. So they had that come out. But since we've never looked at any of the Motorhead stuff from this portion of my collection, we'll take a look at it. It's just the live collection from the Lost Tapes. So you have this one, which was the first one to be released. This was Live in Madrid from June 95. Now, with these albums, they're of varying, sound quality. They're off the soundboard tapes. If you're unfamiliar with them, basically the story behind these is this. Lemmy lived in LA, all right? And when he passed away, they went in to clear out his apartment. And among all the World War II memorabilia and other stuff that he had from his life on the road, he had all of these tapes, cassette tapes, which were off the soundboard tapes from various Motorhead shows during their career. A lot of them, probably never went listened to. So they went through and they pulled out so far 5. I don't know if there's going to be any more released, but I think it would be pretty neat if they continue to release these over time. I dig them, like I said. For the most part, the sound quality is pretty damn good because it's off the soundboard. Every now and again, you get a recording that's a little iffy, but so far pretty good. Not going to get into everything that's on each of these because we'll be here for a month. So this is, like I said, previously unreleased live. So we'll just take a look at the album itself. Got the hype sticker there. Also, back of the album. Interior shot with, 2-inch tape right there, as well as the, some photos of the band in a live setting. And take a look at one of the vinyls. This collection, this 2-album collection is on Candy Apple Red vinyl there. Pretty neat. The label looks like a cassette tape there. Has the track listings on the other side, so you can see that right there. The next one they have is Live in Malmo, all right? And this was from the We Are Motorhead tour in 2000. The first one was Live in Madrid back in 95. So this one was green, all right, in color. And once again, another reel-to-reel tape there. And or cassette tape, I guess you could say, and liner notes there. And this one was done in a pretty cool looking green. All right, so you have that. Next one, Live in Norwich, or as us people in the States saying Norwich. This one is obviously blue. You can see the track listing back there. Some live pics right there. And once again, the big reel right there. And pretty cool looking blue vinyl. Then you have volume 4, Live in Heilbronn. You can see that the track listing is back there. Take a look at the gatefold here. Now it's all running in a similar style as the previous releases. And this one was recorded in '84. This is the Christmas Metal Meeting. So you have this. So like I said, it's from various points in their career. I don't know what the rhyme or reason was as to why they released what, when. And this one is on orange vinyl. You know, like I said, similar in style to the previous releases in this series. And finally, this is the one that came out just last week. This one is live at Donington's Download Festival in 2008, and like have all the hype stickers in with them. With this one, you've got, I'll go through the track listing here since this is the new one, give you a look at the interior of the album as well. All right, and this one is on like a transparent yellow vinyl. All right, and on this one, we've got Dr. Rock, Stay Clean, Be My Baby, Killers, Metropolis, Over the Top, One Night Stand, Rosalie, which is dedicated to Phil Lynott of Thin Lizzy, In the Name of Tragedy, Just Cause I Got the Power, Going to Brazil, Killed by Death, Ace of Spades with Wurzel, you know, he came out, and Overkill with Wurzel as well. This actually sounds really, really good. I listened to this past weekend. It's impressive, you know, and it's like to have Wurzel there for the two bonus tracks is great to fill out the end of the set. So this is cool. Like I said, this just came out. Also, it's come out on CD. You can get all 5 of them. I think it's like basically you get all 5 albums for a little more than what it costs for one of these if you buy it on CD. One other cool Motorhead thing I want to show you is something that I picked up a long, long time ago, back when I was crate digging. All right, you know me, I like to dig through crates. I've got our crate diggers, record collectors, and music lovers all tuned in here, which is neat. Didn't remind you, so I'll remind you now. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Join the colony, right? So this is No Remorse, all right? This is a greatest hits, which was put out on Castle Records. And it's exactly what you would think it would be of Motorhead. You know, it's a greatest hits package from this time period. And I mean, it's got great stuff on here. Ace of Spades, Motorhead, Jailbait, Stay Clean, Too Late, Too Late, Killed by Death, Bomber, Iron Fist, and on and on and on. And what was cool about this, I found this down, you know, this is when you know you're dealing with someone that collects a lot of music and has strong memories of where they've picked stuff up. I remember picking this up down in the East Village of New York City, back when I lived in either the Bronx or Westchester at the time, and used to go down to St. Mark's Sounds. And there was a few record stores down there that, you know, and CD stores and whatnot. You had, you know, clothing stores, Trish and Vaudeville. You had St. Mark's Sounds. And this one I picked up at Smash CD. And aside from being a greatest hits package, the cool thing about it was it came with this special limited edition leather case with the Motorhead mascot, the War Pig, right there. And on the back, all the tracks listed there. So really happy to have this in my collection. Like I said, not only a great album, great piece of Motorhead history right here. And this, No Remorse, is actually being re-released. And it's coming out on a double silver vinyl set. And it's going to be called Remorse No? And that's coming out for Record Store Day 2024, which is April 20th this year. And believe me, it is on my long list of stuff to pick up, to have the companion of that in vinyl, to go along with the original, and also with all the live stuff that I have that I've been collecting over the past couple of years from them. You know, really looking forward to that. And, you know, if you look behind me, there's also a Motorhead Stone Deaf Forever box set there, and I have a lot of the albums on vinyl as well. So the next thing we're going to look at, okay, and, you know, this is the second part of this. You know, we had the Ace of Spades end, and now we're going to have the Space Ace end of it. And that is, you know, everyone's favorite Bronx boy, Ace Frehley. As you know, Ace Frehley was the guitarist in Kiss for many years. You know, left, did his solo thing, came back for the reunion, and then left again. You know, as to whether, you know, he left amicably or not, you know, it depends on who you speak to and on any given day. So what we're going to look at is his new album, a couple of old things that I have of his as well, and then a whole bunch of toys, you know, because Kiss, you know, thanks to Gene Simmons, he was the master of merchandising. He basically made band merch what it is today. I mean, you can get Kiss stuff, Kiss coffins, you know, Kiss coolers, Kiss condoms, you know, I guess they get you coming and going. So, you know, and Kiss cars, things like that. And they did a lot of stuff, you know, ever since I was a little kid with Kiss action figures. So let's get into the music first. We're going to look at some, you know, some things in my collection, not everything. This is one of my favorite tracks by Ace. This is the single, the 12-inch single, Bronx Boy. Also has Reckless, White Room, and Cold Gin with Mike McCready from Pearl Jam on it. So that should interest some Pearl Jam fans. And this is on a white and black, kind of like a smoky vinyl. So you have that, you know, and, you know, basic black label with just says Bronx Boy on it. So you have that. And this is a limited number edition. This is number 1637. I don't know if you could see that too clearly in the collection. So you have this. This is the single. And that goes along with this album. And this is actually, let's try English. This is actually the alternative cover of the album, Spaceman and Bronx Boys from it. If you take a close look of the photo of Ace as an astronaut, you'll see that his makeup is inside the helmet of the astronaut. So you have that. And this is on a very cool orange vinyl. And here's the other cover, okay? And this is on a cool orange vinyl. Almost looks like a push-up pop, if you remember those. And with this, give you a look at the back. It has the track listing there. Has another sleeve for it, which has Ace's guitar and some info regarding the album. You know, you've got the, you know, the liner notes and, you know, basically where Ace was at this point in his career as far as releases go with this label. So you have that. And the next thing we're going to take a look at is Ace Frehley, Greatest Hits Live. And let me dig out this, because I know I have somewhere in here. Yep. Have the hype sticker, all right? And this was limited to edition of 300. So that's pretty neat to have, this version of it. And this is on a really funky splatter vinyl right there. It's pretty neat looking. And this is his Greatest Hits Live. And one thing I saw that was interesting about this is one of the photos that they put in here. And this is it's a 2-album set, so you have both the vinyls looking similar. And let me show you the interior of the of this as well. I got to see Ace live a few times. The back photo here is actually one that is been reused from Frehley's Comet Live +1, and I'm going to show you that because you know I met Ace, you know, interviewed Ace, which, as I said, interesting story. There's the interior, all right, and show you the Frehley's Comet Live +1. We'll take this out of its case. So here's the autograph from when I met and interviewed Ace Frehley. So about the Ace Frehley interview, okay? Back when I worked at WRTN, Midnight Metal, right? 93.5 on your FM dial. we did interviews fairly regularly. And, we were psyched. We got, we had booked Ace to come in to talk about his new album at the time, which was Trouble Walking, right? And it was difficult. It's like he gave us a pretty hard time about it. We usually did interviews that were live. We did interviews live. They were from midnight to 6 a.m. was our show. So usually when we did interviews, especially with people that were, bigger stars as far as hard rock and heavy metal goes, we would have them in early as possible. A lot of times with other bands, we would have them in after a gig, and that would be however it worked out. We tried to cater to the musician as much as possible. With Ace was a true rock and roll diva. There's only one way to put it, and that's that way. Twice he canceled on us to do the interview, and then he finally said, all right, his publicist contacted us and said, well, what we're going to do is this. Ace wants to do the interview in the middle of the week, in the middle of the afternoon. And it's like, well, we do the show live on Saturday nights. And it's like, yeah, he doesn't want to do that. So it's like, all right, we'll do the interview, we'll tape it, and then we'll drop it into the show later. We're excited. It's Ace Frehley. Like I said, I'm a Bronx kid. I was like, this was my hero growing up. Like for a lot of kids that were into hard rock and heavy metal, especially if you were from New York, and especially if you were from the Bronx, Ace was the man. It's like, when I grew up, I used to say I wanted to be either A, an astronaut, B, the center fielder for the Yankees, or C, Ace Frehley. None of those came true, but, such is life. So with Ace, we did the right thing, and we rescheduled him at his convenience. And now I was working a, quote-unquote day job at the time, so I had to give up an afternoon of pay to go over and interview Ace Frehley. Managed to bring along a couple of friends of mine from my college radio station, and it's one of the few pictures I have of myself with anybody famous, and I'm going to post that towards the end of the video as well. I'll attach it on. And good friends, Laura Solano and Erica Pearson, rest in peace. They were there for the interview, and so they were kind of hanging out, and then Ace shows up late. And, like I said, total diva, rock star, get it. Shows up there to promote Trouble Walking. And publicist comes in and says, Ace is excited to be here. Thank you for being, for accommodating him. It's like, yeah, it's cool. It's Ace Frehley, right? So what do they do next? They go, Ace doesn't want to speak about anything about Kiss. Okay. So this is going to run about 10 minutes, this interview. And on top of it, here's a list of questions that Ace wants you to ask. Great. And what else we want to do is we want to have people call in. Now, this is in the land before cell phones, all right? We want people to call in from other parts of the station and pretend they're calling in live. Well, why don't you just come in on a Saturday night and have us record it live like we always do? Wanted to get this interview done. Wanted to get Ace Frehley in the studio. Wanted to make it happen. So we accommodated Ace. We accommodate Ace, do the interview just as he wants it, and we never aired it. He was so much of a pain in the ass to us. And this is a guy I worshipped as a kid that we never aired the interview. We basically did to him what he did to us, which was, all right, we're going to get to it soon. We're going to get to it soon. And we kept promising to air the interview. And as far as I know, it's still somewhere in, a box of tapes that Matt O'Shaughnessy has somewhere, but we never aired the interview. I apologize to Ace for that. If, anybody who speaks to Ace tells him, it's like, yeah, I'm still kicking around, and, so it goes. But, he's still out there, still putting out great music, and we're going to get on to a couple more things. We're going to look at some toys and call it a day. So here we go. The new album, 10 10,000 volts. Okay? Here's the back cover. And if you notice there's a name, Steve Brown. Steve Brown may be familiar to some people because he was part of Trixter. And now I have to tell you the Trixter story. So, there are only 3 people that I would consider difficult as far as interviews go. Ace, I totally get. Ace is Ace Frehley. All right? Trixter, on the other hand, were up-and-comers at the time. They were basically darlings on MTV. And they came into the studio, and old me would describe it a different way, but being they're not much older than me, they were just kids. And I mean, we couldn't get them to be cool or respectful. They were just, nicest way I could put it, they were just jerks. But Ace has picked Steve to do this album with. If you're lucky, if you can hunt down the CD of this at Walmart only, it has a lenticular cover. It looks cool. I've been unable to get a hold of a copy myself. The album itself is very cool looking. There's a ton of different variants on this. I got the red variant. In addition to the paper sleeve that the album comes in, it also comes with interior photo of another sleeve and, you know, lyrics and liner notes on the back. He's released 3 tracks from this. Walking on the Moon, which I dig. 10,000 Volts, which is the title track, and it's awesome. And also Cherry Medicine, which to me that sounds like a Trixter tune. It sounds kind of poppy. Not really for me, but you know, I'm sure some people will dig it. You can see the labels, the 10,000 volt labels, both red and blue. This does have a lot of good tracks on it, all right? I mean, the gold standard for Ace Frehley albums is right behind me, the 1978 Masterpiece. He's never topped it, but I will say this album comes pretty damn close. This album is really, really strong. Got a couple of good instrumentals, got some great, great songs, in addition to 10,000 volt. Walking on the Moon. The 3rd track, Cosmic Heart, is great. Back Into My Arms Again, which is a ballad, pretty damn good. Fighting for Your Life, okay. Blinded, good. Constantly Cute, another poppy tune. Got a feeling that's got Steve Brown written all over it. Life of a Stranger, and then it closes out real strong with Up in the Sky and Stratosphere. You definitely want to pick this up. This is a late day, can't say rebound or anything because Ace has never really left the scene, but this album is really strong and you should give it a listen. I really dig it. So that ends the music portion of it, okay? I mean, I've got other Ace things in here. I mean, Frehley's this and, Frehley's Comet and Anomaly, and there's other stuff that I have, back there as well. But let's take a look at some other stuff from the, the Ace Frehley collection that I have. I have a couple of things I wasn't able to locate. I guess they're somewhere in the vast archives of my home. But one of the cool things that I have here, we'll start off with something small and work our way through. There was a collection of Johnny Lightning cars. And if I remember correctly, my buddy Dave got me a bunch of these. I only took out the Ace Frehley one for you guys to look at. Hopefully you can see that clearly. And they had one for all the band members. And, so I have a couple of boxes of these. Just took out the Ace one. Another thing that I have, if you remember, Kiss was always big when it came to action figures. So I have my collection of Ace Frehley action figures from the variants that they put out. This is from the Psycho Circus collection. This is Ace Frehley and the Stilt Man. So you have that there. These were from McFarlane Toys. Yeah, you can see all of the guys there as well. You know, you got this set. This set was, you know, this one, it says the guitar transforms into a space sled. You know, also from McFarlane Toys. These are considered ultra action figures. And you've got that there. All right, you can see the collection there. You know, Todd McFarlane is responsible for the, you know, the Spawn collection. He got into a bunch of these rock and roll ones. You know, I have a Rob Zombie one, an Ozzy one, a whole bunch, Alice Cooper. Here's another one. You've got the, this is another variant. It has a little mini version of the solo album there. All right. And this is Ace without the Stiltman. And finally, you have the Alive set. Pretty cool looking Ace action figure right there. All right, also McFarlane Toys. Before we do more toys, one of the coolest things I have, one of the things I really dig having, is this monstrosity right here. The History of Kiss, Kisstory. And these were, you know, a numbered limited edition book, released by the band, okay? And this thing is just awesome. Right? If you dig Kiss, you know, you need to have this in your collection, right? And the cool thing about this was, it was limited edition, like I said, and it was autographed. So you can see that there. I don't want to really test the binding too much. You can see the number that it was, and everybody's autograph there. It's got Eric Singer's autograph in here. And this breaks down the band into, you know, the various eras of the band. And it's got tons of cool photos from the entire history of the band, as well as the history itself. I mean, they break it into chapters of Kiss tattoos, comic books, you know, the toys, everything. So this thing is a monster. Oh, and even in here, I have the obit. Didn't realize I kept it in here, but I have the obituary of Eric Carr. So that's where I put it all these years later. So that's that. Yeah, miss Eric Carr, great guy. Also another release coming out from him for Record Store Day 2024. It's a box set called Unfinished Business. It has, you know, music that Eric made along with interviews. Not ours with Eric. If you want to hear the Eric Carr story, go back and check out the prior episode that I did when I did the Eric Carr picture disc and got into his stuff. So you have that. I'll show you another picture or two from this. You know, some of the early stuff from the band before I put this away. Back in the day, as they say. So here's an early picture. Let's see if we have an early picture of Ace. We had a very early picture of Paul there. Let's see. I want to see this, if I can find something quick. It's got a lot more to go through, and I'm going through time. I'll show you the early Paul stuff instead, just because we're talking Kiss in general at this point. So you have that. Paul Stanley, two very different looks right there. And, you know, more toys. You know, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the camera here, and I'm going to take you around and show you what we got. All right, so just stay still 1 minute. Coming right back. All right, so here we are back looking at, you know, some stuff from my Kiss collection. This is the Love Gun action figure set. You know, this has, you know, basically mimics the cover on top of the band. You also have, you know, the ladies that were on the cover of Love Gun. Below that, we have Kiss Creatures of the Night, you know, with the Axe base. And you got Eric Carr back there as the Fox, and Star Child Paul Stanley there as well. Collection of Kiss pics that I have. Back from the Psycho Circus days. One's kind of sliding out of the lucite there. It's Paul Stanley, and you got the Ace Frehley one with the little ace drawn there as well. We'll come across over here. Save the big guy for last. move our lava lamp out of the way, you know, because I'm a hippie at heart. And we've got, you know, this is Kiss, the Alive stage setup. It has the lighting, it has the stage set itself, and you can see Peter Criss back there, Gene, Paul, Peter, and Ace. And finally, you know, there we have Ace's original 78 album, back from 78. The last thing we have is this. These were the Destroyer action figures. You know, if you remember way back to the late 70s, early 80s, Kiss had the 12-inch dolls. These things are double that size. And, you know, I have two of them. I didn't get all four. My lovely wife got me Gene Simmons and Ace. Not a big Gene guy, I gotta admit. But the cool thing about this, if you've never seen these before, is with the Destroyer, you know, obviously this is New York City. You can tell because it has St. John Street. You know, you notice the only lights lit up on the diner say "Die," and if you look down here, it says "Hit It, Destroyer Audio, shout it out loud." So let's do that. So that's pretty cool. You know, check that out. Just gonna, you know, wrap this up. You know, thanks for checking out the channel. I appreciate all the feedback you guys give. In the coming weeks, I'm gonna do another episode where I talk about some of the hair bands that were overlooked from the 80s. And then I'm gonna do one of new stuff. I've gotten a ton of new stuff and haven't had the opportunity to really post it up. And also, I'm going to do one entirely on Motley Crue because somebody asked for it and I can do that, so why not? So thanks for checking out the channel. Come back next week. I appreciate everything. I appreciate that you come in and check in. I appreciate that you look. Thanks for staying with me on this long one. Have a great week. Peace, one love, and music. I'm out.